Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 6th annual Lupus Project. My name is Dr. Monica Blied. I am a licensed clinical psychologist in California and wellness curator. I am also a 9-year lupus warrior, living with sound like warrior, but warrior, like, strong, not like worried. Anyway, living with lupus and fibromyalgia since 2012, and I am so excited to deliver this welcome today. We have a full conference of information, resources, community connection available for you guys, not just tonight, not just tomorrow night, but going into Saturday and Sunday as well. Today, we will be exploring what is it like when you are first diagnosed with lupus. Many of you attending remember that day or remember that process of getting the diagnosis. Or maybe you're here because a family member or a loved one is living with lupus and you want to understand a little bit more about what that process was like for them, as well as how you can better support. So yes, you will get all that this weekend. We'll also have information for you from local and national lupus organizations so that you can get and stay connected. We're going to have information on soul care, spiritual care, on body care, including fitness that is safe and great for us Lupies, and nutrition, because what goes on in the body goes on in the mind, what goes on in the mind goes on in the body. So I am, again, so excited to welcome you. Let me tell you a little bit about what this is. Now, as I mentioned, this is the 6th annual The Lupus Project Conference. So for 6 years, run by Miss Kimberly Howse of the Howse Foundation, we have brought together national and local partners and organizations who are health conscious, health advocates, and lupus champions to help folks who are living with lupus and the folks who love them to, again, get connected, to understand more about this disease, and also how to effectively manage it, and how to better advocate for ourselves and for our loved ones when it comes to navigating these medical systems. Okay, so what is lupus? If you don't know by now, go ahead and open up another tab on your computer, click Google, and do what is lupus. You can go to the Lupus Foundation of America, Lupus LA, and so many other resources. It is a devastating autoimmune disease that happens when our immune systems decide that our own tissues and organs and cells are the enemy. They pick up on it like a flu or a cold or the Rona, and they go away and go under attack. Unfortunately, over 1.5 million Americans are living today diagnosed with lupus. 2/3 of people get their diagnosis under the age of 30. 9 out of 10 are women. 1 out of 10 are men. And the majority are people of color. This disease discriminates, and this disease, again, can have a devastating impact if you don't have the tools and the resources to be able to know how to navigate it, know how to manage it, and also the social support and community to just know that you're not alone. So if you get nothing else from these next 4 days, my hope and wish for you is that you will know that you are not alone. To start off today, we want to give a special thank you to our sponsors. And so now we'll have our next speaker come up and tell you who those sponsors are so that you can thank for allowing us to have this amazing 4-day event to get you connected and well-resourced.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So my name is Tanisha, and I serve as the CFO for the Lupus Project. And before we go any further, I would love to acknowledge all of those who have made this event happen and in reality, and those are our sponsors. And I'm going to give you a list of those sponsors, and I'm excited for each and every one of them, and it's just been great. And a few of them have been with us for a few years and supporting the Lupus Project, and some are new. First, we have Mixed Chicks, and they have given us products. I mean, a ton of products to put in the gift boxes. So whoever was those first 100 people who registered, you'll receive some Mixed Chick products. We also have Walmart. Walmart, they have given us $5,000, $5,000 to put on this event. So we want to thank Walmart for doing that for us. We also have Green Label, who donated a bundle of sage for each of the boxes, so you'll be receiving those as well. We also have ML hand soaps. They have put 100 aside for us, and those will be also in the gift boxes as well. Then we have Venetian Skincare, who has donated avocado and tea tree skincare oil for each of the boxes. We also have Howse Foundation, who has made face masks with the Howse Foundation logo, which is awesome. And those will also go into the gift boxes. We have Howse Products, who has donated hand sanitizer for each of the boxes. We also have Care for Lupus, who donated a $50 gift card. And that was a giveaway for the social media giveaway. And we want to say congratulations to that winner. So congratulations, whoever won that. I know that's awesome. $50. I would have loved that. Now we have Andrea Apotica. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. But she donated $25 for this event. And we want to say thank you to her as well. We have Rosanna Koo, who donated non-toxic canned. How many of us want to try to get as much non-toxic things away from our environment, right? So kudos to her. Thank you. We also want to give a special thank you to Cola Nixon and Sicati Castro. Cola came all the way down from Sacramento to help put the boxes together. And also Sicati Castro, she also took some time out of her day to come and put the boxes together and help us. We also have Mikeyana, and she donated lanyards, 100 lanyards for each of the boxes. We also have Maria Gonzalez, who donated 100 pins to put in the boxes as well. Oh, and she also put a gift box together for one lucky winner. So I would love to see what's in that gift box. Then we have mini bags, and they donated a coach wristlet. Do you know a coach? Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to see who wins that. That's awesome. So we want to say thank you to all of our sponsors who took the time and opened up their heart to donate and to give to the Lupus Project. And now we will have a video from the Lupus and Allied Disease Inc. And they are one of our platinum sponsors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tanisha. Tell me, can you see the video here? Here we go.
There we go. Yay.
Lupus and Allied Diseases Association was founded in 1978, and we are a totally volunteer, patient-led organization. Every person on our board is a person that lives with lupus or a care partner with an allied disease. We are extremely passionate about this cause.
Okay, that's their video. And now we're going to go ahead and bring in Kazi. Thank you, Tanisha.
Thank you. Bye.
Am I good? Can we hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Hey, all right. Hi, I'm Kazi Toganos. Some of you might know me as an actor. I've done some movies and stuff like Equalizer 2 and Dolomite, and most recently Equalizer TV show with Queen Latifah in the pilot. I'm just going to quickly introduce my own film called Standing 8, which is about a boxer who is diagnosed with lupus and forced to retire. We're going to screen the first third of the film here. Just make sure that if there are any children in the room, you either warn them or kick them out because there is some foul language. So enjoy, and I'll see you in about 8 minutes.
Thank you, Kazi. 1 second.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Dusty. Feeling ready, feeling strong. May 10th, 5 weeks out. Training camp is going great. I'm really excited for this fight. You know, King of New York is just a prelude to getting a title shot. And I know Quinn's out there. He's like running his mouth, talking. Honestly, I just slipped my fist through the talking. So.
What you say? Hey, yo, y'all know who it is. It's your boy, Quinn Durbin, a.k.a. the King of Brooklyn, soon to be the King of New York and the champ of the world. Once I get my title shot after knocking out bitch-ass Dusty Abrams.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Craig Daniels, and we are 1 month out from one of the most anticipated boxing matches in our city's history. Who's going to be the King of New York? Dusty Abrams from Queens or Quinn Durbin from Brooklyn? This is the light heavyweight fight everyone. I heard both training camps are both.
Oh, get it.
Word on the street is that it's going to be a fight. Watch out, man. What you got?
Come on, get it. Yeah. Ooh. Get it. Get it. Come on, angle up. Angle up. Angle up. God damn it. Come on, angle up. Angle up. Angle up. Spin. Spin. God damn it. Time. The fuck is wrong with you? He's walking all over you, God damn it.
Walking all over me.
Wait a second.
What?
Look at me.
What?
The fuck?
What are you talking about?
Jesus Christ.
What?
What the fuck happened to your face?
Nothing. It just hurts.
What do you mean it hurts?
It hurts. Everything hurts.
God damn it, Dusty. We're a month out. You keep this shit up, we are doomed.
We're not doing. I'm gonna beat the hell out of you.
I'm calling it a day. Let's go.
No.
Get some rest.
No.
Come on.
We're going one more round.
Call it a day, Dusty.
Put it on my head.
Then we'll show me something, God damn it.
Hurry up. Just put it on my head.
Stop taking so many punches. Get in. Go. Damn it. Dusty, call 911.
Hi, thank you so much for coming down this afternoon.
All right. Give me the good news first.
Mr. Abrams, you have SLE, otherwise known as systemic lupus erythematosus.
What the hell is that?
Well, lupus is an autoimmune disease wherein the body's immune system mistakenly attacks healthy tissue and organs. It causes inflammation, extreme exhaustion, pain. It is more common among women, but men do get it as well.
Okay. So what's the good news?
Well, your case is mild.
So I can still box.
Well, no, you can't. You can exercise, but any kind of serious exertion could cause a flare. It would be 10 times worse than what you experienced last week. It could even be fatal.
Okay. So how do we get rid of it?
You don't. There's no cure. It is treatable, though. I'm going to prescribe you some prednisone. It's a steroid.
Doc, I can't take a steroid. I have a fight coming up in a month. It's like the fight of my life with Quinn Durbin on May 10th. Light heavyweight
Mr.
title.
Abrams, I'm sorry. I already submitted my evaluation. The commission is going to pull your license to fight.
Hey. Everything all right?
Yeah, it's this stupid mouth nose thing. It's just...
You're a really bad liar. You know that? Hold up. You feel gross. I need a shower.
How was your day?
The usual. My boss is a prick and my clients are idiots. What's going on? You never asked me how my day is.
Nothing.
What are those?
It's nothing. It's just,
Prednisone? Aren't these steroids?
Yeah.
You have a fight coming up. Why are you taking these?
They're pulling my boxing license.
Did you do something?
No. I have lupus.
Lupus? Okay, what is that? Is that serious?
Yeah, it's serious. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? I mean, they pulled my license. I can't fight. I can't box anymore.
Okay,
I can't fight Quinn
right.
Durbin on May 10th. Like, my life is over.
It's not over. Why
What?
would you say that? Just shh.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
You have me. You are not alone. Okay? Hey. Relax. It's gonna be okay.
I'm withdrawing from my upcoming bout with Quinn Durbin and retiring from the sport of boxing due to medical complications. It's been a good run, but it's over. Thank you for your support.
Wait, Dusty, hey, we're not taking any questions at this time.
Dusty, man. You still ducking me with this loopy shit? I ain't never heard of a man with lupus.
Listen, man, I was in Dusty's training camp. I know he's sick.
I'm just really disappointed, man. You know, I had a little bit of money on the fight, too.
They took the license in New York, so what? We could have went anywhere. We could have went to Jersey, Canada, Vegas. You just don't really want to fight me. You know why? Because you know what it is. And you know where the real king of New York is. That's Brooklyn, Quinn Durbin.
Well, Quinn says you just backed out because you're making up this whole disease thing.
Really? Does it look like my face? Does this look like this is made up? Does this look like it's made up? Have a good night.
Do I think he could have did more? I think he should have tried harder. Absolutely, man. You're supposed to be a fighter, man.
Everyone in the gym today is talking about Dusty Abrams.
Who the hell is Dusty Abrams? Stop fucking ducking me.
Don't let anybody talk over this.
Come with your dollars out. This is do it die. I only do what I love to do. Anything else is suicide. Come with your dollars out. This is do it die. I only do what I love to do. Anything else is suicide. Come with your dollars out. This is do it die. I only do what I love to do. Anything else is.
I'm back in.
You're back in.
All right, cool. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the first third of Standing 8. It was really a passion project for me. My mother has lupus, and I just really wanted to give back to her because I felt she had always like supported me as her son. And it began as kind of like a love letter to her. And as time went on, I realized that there was a huge problem when it came to awareness for lupus, and that really our community needed something like this film to be out there to start conversations. I'm really of the mind that awareness is key to our cause. I believe that the more awareness we can create, the more dollars for research we can raise, and more dollars for research means eventually we'll find a cure. So I really put my heart and soul into this, and I really hope that it does justice to all the lupus warriors out there who are struggling. This film is really just about his psychological journey in dealing with lupus. It's more about how he is trying to handle not being able to do what he loved to do and what he thought he was destined to do, and that was to be a fighter. So the film's kind of like a metaphor. It's like how you all have to deal with people questioning whether you're sick or not. That was like a theme in the film. The you don't look sick. His former opponent starts trolling him, saying that men don't get lupus, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, it is available if everyone wants to check it out. It's on Amazon Prime and Vimeo now. If you do get it on Prime, please leave us a positive review. There's some haters out there trying to suck down my ratings. But anyway, I'll gladly open up the forum to any questions if anyone wants to know more. Anything. I'll answer anything. I got like 15 minutes or so to do it. So I think that there's a big hole in pop culture. There's really an issue when you tell someone that you have lupus and they look at you and they don't know what that means, especially when like someone like Selena Gomez and Toni Braxton and Nick Cannon all have lupus. Ava DuVernay has lupus. A lot of high profile people in the entertainment industry have lupus, yet there's so little awareness. And that's really something that I think we can just correct as a community. And it's something that I'm definitely working on. I'm working on getting a feature film off the ground. So hopefully we'll be able to do that in the next couple of years. I see a question here. How did I cope as a son? When I was young, my mom didn't necessarily, she didn't really hide the fact that she was sick, but she didn't broadcast that she was sick. She really didn't want me, worrying about her. She tried to live her life as normally as possible. So it really didn't hit me till I was older. And ironically, my first childhood memory is of me when I was 2 years old asking my father where my mother was. And at the time she was in the hospital. She was having a really bad flare when I was 2. And the doctors told her that she wasn't going to make it. But she, years later told me that her motivation was her son. She wanted to pull out because of her son. And then as I got older, I started to notice some things. And I think my biggest light bulb kind of moment was when I was in college and I decided to write a paper on lupus, thinking that it would be really, really easy for me. I thought I knew everything about lupus at the time since I lived with a lupus warrior. And, despite my mom having been on chemo a few times and whatnot, I didn't know anything about the science. So when I started reading about the science, about what was actually happening to my mother, her body, it just was like a light bulb went off in my head. And then, of course, as time went on and we decided to make Standing 8, I picked her brain a lot for the film. There's a lot of her journey in this movie. And I really got to understand her journey as a warrior even more. And it took a long time for my mom to get diagnosed. She thinks she had her first flare when she was 16, and she didn't get diagnosed till her early 30s. As far as my mother, how does she feel about the film? The first time we watched it together, and when the credits started to roll, she definitely cried, and she thanked me. And that meant a lot because, she was my initial motivation to make the movie. And I think it hit the right notes for her. And little tidbit of information, my mother, we crowdfunded the movie through Kickstarter, and my mother wanted to contribute. So she decided that she was going to handle the catering and the craft services for the film. And also you'll notice that my mother has a cameo in the post-credit sequence of the movie. When you watch the whole thing, you'll see my mom is actually in the post-credit. So it was cool to be able to include her on multiple aspects. So there is even, my mom is part of the film. Advice for family members regarding, helping lupus warriors. The first step for family is to get as much information about it as possible so that you can become the support system for the person that you're caring for. I think it's really critical. I think my dad, when he was taking care of my mom, really, they researched lupus together. They learned about lupus. They found out what were things that could trigger flares. They really approached it as a team. And I think it's really important that if you have a lupus warrior in your family, or you are caring for someone with lupus, is that you really educate yourself so that when they are having a flare, when something is wrong, that you can be more understanding. I think that's really a big part of the awareness issue, right? That's part of why I made the film, because I've had people message me over the film saying that they just sat down with their spouse, and their spouse turned to them after the movie ended and literally said, "I never knew that's what you were going through." So I think those types of things, being able to educate yourself and really showing some empathy, because healthy people just don't understand. Healthy people can wake up in the morning and they can go days without having to feel pain or feeling sick. And lupus warriors, you're fighting with this every day. So my heart really goes out to you. You fight through, even on your best days, you're fighting. So it's really a challenge. So having a good support system like, Lupus Project and LFA and people around you that understand and can help you, I think is really, really important. What did I learn about the psychological process of a lupus diagnosis? Really, there's stages to it. And I think for my mom, I can only really speak from like her journey more than anyone. It was really it was hard. It was hard because she had to give up teaching. She was a college professor. She had to give up her pursuit of a PhD. It really made her her career ambitions fade away, which was for her is difficult. So I think psychologically you just have to adjust, right? I think that was the biggest thing, is my mom made an adjustment, and I saw it in my own life. I saw her decide to do certain things and not do certain things, and she made all the adjustments that she worked with her doctors and did everything that she had to do. And my mother's been surviving this disease for over 40 years. So what one can do, another can do. And it's just really accepting that this is the condition, but doing everything you can to keep yourself healthy and staying mentally healthy, finding people that support you. What symptoms do I suffer? Well, I actually don't have lupus. My mother does. So my mother has at different times been dealing, lupus nephritis, kidney involvement, pleurisy. It's really hit every part of her body at different, arthritic symptoms from, early on, and then, rashes, the gamut. She's had to deal with it. Now I think I think her biggest thing right now is just the fatigue. Now that she's been dealing it with for a long time, it's just fatigue. And as far as what made me focus on men for the film, honestly, when I wrote it, it was kind of a two-pronged thing. At the time, I got my production team together, and we were just trying to decide, what kind of story we wanted to tell. I used to box. I was a fighter in the Golden Gloves back before I started acting. So I did have a fighting background, and I wanted to actually play a boxer, and I had been overlooked for a few roles already. So I decided to write my own thing. In the meantime, I also wanted to do a project that would have some meaning, and that's why we decided to involve lupus. And it was actually one of my co-producers, Antoine Allen, that mentioned to me when we were kind of brainstorming, what story did we want to tell? He was like, well, why don't you actually have the boxer get lupus? And sitting back and from a storyteller's perspective, that really gave us some specificity, because the lupus journey for men is different than the lupus journey for women. There's significantly fewer men that have it. I think it's 9 to 1. And I knew at the time that because of living with my mother and having a good relationship with her, that I would be able to draw from her when it came to my performance, and that I would basically be able to use her as a template, as an acting template. And I think it worked. I really channeled a lot of my mother's experience and journey with this. When we were on set once, my father pulled me aside, and it was when we had just shot that scene where I scream out, "Everything hurts" at the beginning. And he said, "That's exactly what your mother said." So even in those types of moments, these honest type of moments, it was really important for me to play the character, because I felt that I don't know any other actors who understand the lupus journey really at this time, or that we could have afforded at that time. So to me, it was really no brainer to play the character. Well, the truth is, when we have a feature film, I'm going to need lupus warriors, because I want members of the cast to actually be dealing with lupus. So when we get closer, I'll make some announcements through the Lupus Foundation. We're still a little far away from being able to shoot the film clearly, because we're dealing with COVID now. It's a very different world when it comes to film production. You need significantly more money. So it's going to become a thing of us raising the funds, and that's a whole process in itself. But I will keep my lupus family updated, and I'll let everybody know what's going on. And people who are in the lupus community are going to be involved with the movie from start to finish. And I'll make sure of that, because I want to do you all justice. Oh, you're very welcome. I hope your daughter is doing as well as she can. I know it's frustrating, but she has a whole group of people standing with her, alongside her, and I hope that she realizes that she has a huge lupus family that is fighting alongside her, and we all are. So please, send her my blessings. Anyone else with any questions? Again, I'll drop a little note in case anyone wants to watch the trailer and the whole film. I'll just drop it into the notes if I can type. Standing8themovie.com. Hopefully I just typed that correctly. I tried to do it too fast.
And I put it in the call to action as well. So if you guys see that, you can click that as well.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right.
Well, if that's it, I'll let you all continue on with the scheduled program. I believe that next we will have Dr. Blied coming in to talk about coping with a lupus diagnosis. So I'm honored to introduce Dr. Blied.
Thank you so much, Kazi. That was amazing. And I had the privilege and opportunity to watch the film earlier this month, and I was just so touched and also reminded of what that diagnosis looks like. And so many different things came up, so many different themes as far as not being believed, you know, having to prove your illness, not understanding, you know, why me and why now? And then also, okay, so what do I do now? What do I do? How do I manage this? How do I, you know, share with my partner, with my loved one, or, you know, if you're unpartnered, how do I introduce this on dates? You know, and those kinds of things. There's so much complexity to being diagnosed. And there's answers to each of those questions. So I just really appreciate you creating this film and starting the conversation for us.
Well, you're very welcome. That's what we wanted to do. So, all right, have at it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I actually am going to share my screen because I created just a very short 4 or 5 slide PowerPoint on how to cope with the lupus diagnosis. Now, there is no one size fits all for what coping looks like. However, there are some basic and common threads among what an assault to our system a diagnosis is and what that typically looks like. And so let me just go ahead and share. And I'm not sure, Kim, if you can mute yourself. I hear some feedback.
Done.
Okay, guys, give me just a second to figure out a screen share. Let's see. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this. I'll start from the beginning, coping with your lupus diagnosis. A little bit about me. Again, I'm a licensed clinical health psychologist in California. You can learn more about me on my website, drblied.com. Lupus warrior since 2012, also living with fibromyalgia. So I'm blessed, if you want to call it that, with the double whammy. I'm a mama of 3. One of my children was born post-lupus diagnosis, and I do have a presentation on lupus and pregnancy. We can talk about that later, or you can see it on my YouTube page. Hobbies. I kind of say it in jest, like, you know, my hobbies are Netflixing and napping, but for real, that's what I enjoy doing the most because it's the least taxing on my body, to be able to just get rest and, in honor my temple, and honor the limitations that this disease has put upon my body. So initial diagnosis. It shows up as a cycle of grief, actually. And I know many lupus warriors who are watching this presentation today, you can relate, but maybe didn't have the language of what exactly you experience when you get that diagnosis. And so what does that look like? There are different stages of grief. It normally starts with shock and initial paralysis at hearing the bad news. So, you know, like the loss of a loved one or loss of someone that you know, care about who passes away, getting a diagnosis of a chronic illness is a loss as well. It's the loss of this idea for a healthy me, what you expected that would look like. Maybe it's the loss of your plans to run a half marathon. That was never in my goals, but more power to you if it is. Or, like Kazi, the loss of his character being able to do this championship fight. There's so many things that we had hoped for and planned for and dreamed for that all of a sudden Lupus slaps in the face and like, nah, go sit yourself down somewhere and have a nap. So that can be a total shock to your system, followed by denial, trying to avoid the inevitable. I am the picture product of denial. If any of you have heard my story of diagnosis, you've heard this before, but when my doctor, he caught it pretty early on. I was just having the fatigue and pain at that time without organ involvement. And he said, I think you have lupus. And I was like, the devil is a lie. I do not. And so I fired him and I was out of medical care for about 6 months. Then I went to another doctor on the other side of town and I was like, I don't have any medical records. I don't know nothing, at all. Just trying to be blank slate and avoid this diagnosis. And she looked, this physician, she took one look at my lab results and was like, do you have lupus? And I did everything that I could to try to contain all the emotion and the reality of like, no, here I am in my early 20s and I was a single mom at that time, a divorced single mom with a 4-year-old. Like, what am I going to do? And of course I consult Dr. Google, google.com and try to figure out what this is. And it says, chronic and debilitating. And then I read stories of people who have lost their ability to walk. And at that time I was doing runway modeling. So I'm like, well, hell, wouldn't that be super ironic? And just all the worst coming and all the anger as well. That's the next stage, frustrated outpouring of bottled up emotion. Not just anger, but a lot of fear and confusion and so many things as I got in the car and called my mom and cried for half an hour before I could drive back home. I'm sure many of you guys can relate. Bargaining, trying to seek in vain for a way out. So, just pretending like, la, 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 this not that big of a deal. I have lupus, but it don't have me. And, and that's great to have that positivity, but you also got to sit with the reality, okay? The reality of having to protect our skin from the sun. Although only 30% of lupus patients have the butterfly rash as a reaction to being out in UV light and the sun, 100% of us have sensitivity where having that UV light and unprotected sun exposure shows up, research has shown up to 3 weeks later internally with organ involvement and increased inflammation and so many other things. And these are things that I learned when I went to one of the Lupus LA conferences that are offered twice a year and that are now offered virtually. Learning as much as I can. Depression, ooh, baby boy, baby girl. That depression is no joke. When you finally realize that this is what it is. And that depression also came to me with the theological, the faith framework of like, is God punishing me? And a family member told me, well, if I just prayed hard enough, that God would heal me, so I'm thinking like, well, maybe I'm just, I'm unfaithful. I'm a heathen because I'm still living with this. I still have the symptoms. I'm still racked with pain every day. Right now, literally right now, my neck and back hurts. And those are usually my trigger points, in addition to like, the joints and stuff. And so that can definitely lead to depression, anxiety, and then we move on to testing, seeking realistic solutions. Okay, can I, do a little bit more clean eating? Can I go for a walk just to be able to calm down my mind and calm down my body and, get some kind of physical movement that's going to increase those happy chemicals in my brain. It's going to increase endorphins. It's going to increase levels of dopamine. That's going to positively impact levels of depression and anxiety and all that stuff. The biophysical, neurological, all that connected together in our management of lupus. Finally, acceptance, finding the way forward. Okay, and so that's when you say, like, I have lupus, but it doesn't have me, but it's saying in truth, because you realize that this lupus diagnosis, it's a part of who we are, but it's not who we are. It is not our identity. Our identity is not the sick chick or the invisibly ill. I am also a mom. I'm also a psychologist. I'm also a woman. I'm also a child of God, sometimes, I try to be, in all these things. But here's the kicker. These stages that, it's not a linear fashion. It's not, you start at shock and then I've gone through I've experienced the anger and I'm at acceptance and now I'm good for the rest of me living with lupus. That's not how it works. And if you follow me on Instagram, you would see how I've, been pretty transparent about this process, where even recently I've gone back to the depression, gone back to the anger, and the bargaining and those kinds of things, because it's a cycle. And you kind of go through when new things hit your life, of that unexpected reminder of the loss of, oh, wow, I can't do that like I want to, or I have this limitation that I don't want, and those kinds of things, that continues. But here's the hope. The hope is, and the reality is, that the longer you're living with this condition and the more support that you have around you and the more knowledge and resources that you are armed with, those moments of desperation, those pity parties, those, outbursts of grief, they become less intense and shorter in duration. And that's the hope. That's what you can look forward to the years following your diagnosis, when you become, like me, a 9-year survivor, a 9-year warrior, or you become like Miss Wendy, one of the SoCal Lupus Foundation of America coordinators, a 22-year survivor, 22-year warrior, or a 30-year or 40-year, like Kazi's mother. You'll get there. But just know that this is what it looks like. So dealing with loss, this is just another pictorial demonstration. It starts with shock, anger, sadness, forgiveness, maybe even, forgiving yourself for, thinking that, you did something to bring this on. This illness, there is, as much research as they do, there is no pinpointed of, oh, you did this to cause this. It's without blame. It's a biophysiological thing that we're still trying to grapple with and we're still trying to find a cure for. But in the meantime, it's about managing. So you face the loss head on. You face that diagnosis head on, and you release that shit that's holding you back. The things that say, like, oh, well, now I might as well just lay down and die because I can't, fill in the blank. No. There's a lot more that you still can do, even if you have this limitation. There's a whole lot more. And the beautiful thing about living with lupus, I found, is that it has allowed me to appreciate life a whole lot more than my friends and colleagues and family members who do not face chronic illness and chronic pain on a daily basis. I appreciate the ability to be able to use a bathroom by myself. Sounds small, but that's a blessing. I appreciate the feel of the breeze on my face and just the sound of children's laughter and those kinds of things. There's a gift that has come with the changes that I've had to accept. And what I've learned, coming back to the faith part, is that my health status is not a measure of my faith. And if anything, if we really follow in the Bible, and I know this is not a religious thing, but let me just tell you what it is that, if you follow that faith system, God says that our weakness, his strength is perfected in our weakness. And that we, can be so much and do so much because we've had this opportunity to trust, this opportunity to accept our limits, this opportunity to look outside of ourselves instead of trying to control everything, which you can't do anyway. And another gift, I think I'm actually going to live a whole lot longer than my friends and colleagues and family members without lupus, because this disease makes me sit my butt down and rest and nap and Netflix and really respect and honor my body. Versus our culture in this American society is so hustle. It's so, get the next thing done. What is your to-do list? Grind, grind, grind. But when you're living with this chronic illness, it forces you to rest, to take a seat, and to be mindful of what does your body need. So this talks about mindfulness in the grief system and what are different steps that you can do. And I'll just read a couple of them to you. It is a little bit hard to see on your screen. However, I have this entire presentation available for download on my website. If you go to drblied.com/resources, drblied.com/resources. You can download this and read it yourself. Starts with conscious relaxation. Relieve anxiety and stress by focusing your attention and activating your body's natural healing potential. And we are going to learn more about that in the next several days of the Lupus Project. We're going to learn about nutrition. We're going to learn about spirit interventions. Wave some, burn some, holy wood. We're going to learn about, supplements. We're going to learn about gentle yoga and movement. And Kim Howse with Howse Fitness is going to do some demonstrations for us as well, because guess what? We have within ourselves the potential to manage a lot of this condition. And there's also awesome science that can help us with medications and interventions and therapy, to help us with a whole health, well-rounded approach to managing this. Compassion and forgiveness. Treat yourself like your own best friend and transform your relationships with difficult people by reflecting on common humanity. Get unstuck. Transform roadblocks into opportunities to get to know yourself better and change lifelong habitual reactions to setbacks and stress. I'll read one more. Allowing transformation. Take stock of the person you are in the process of becoming by reflecting on the impact of post-traumatic growth. What is post-traumatic growth? Y'all heard of post-trauma, right? Y'all heard of PTSD? Guess what? When you are hit with the lupus diagnosis, it can fit in all the things that came along with it, our medical and physical symptoms, and being gaslighted by medical professionals for years before we're finally believed and diagnosed. All that can show up like PTSD. It's a trauma response. But what's the flip side of that? Post-traumatic growth is, okay, because of this traumatic event and set of events, now you have this opportunity for resilience. And what did you learn from this experience? How can you apply this to encourage and support and uplift someone else who's going through what you went through? That's what that looks like. And then we think about managing our thoughts as well. Because what you think is going to impact how you feel. How you feel is going to impact how you act. So if you got that diagnosis and you're living with it, say, okay, well, there's no cure for lupus. Obviously, I'm just, this is just what it is. I might as well just give up. And, I can't work anymore. I have too much pain and it's always going to be this way and it's never going to get better. Then guess what that stinking thinking is going to lead to? It's going to lead to a depression in your emotions. where your feelings are going to feel like despair. Despair. And how does that show up in our body? It shows up as increased inflammation, lower immune response, increased stress hormone, cortisol in our bodies. And how does that show up in our behaviors as well? We end up just laying down, not getting out of bed, not feeding ourselves, not taking care of our children, tending to our relationships, and allowing all that to get worse because there's the mind-body health connection. But you got to stop that crazy cycle. And how can you do it? I'm going to give you a few different suggestions. Challenging stinking thinkings. Top 3: redirect, reframe, and recognize. Redirect. Sometimes you just got to shift your focus. Think about something different. You know, I'm going to teach you guys a breathing meditation at the end of today after we have our male lupus warriors come on and share with you about their organization. I'm going to do that. But sometimes, just to be honest, I keep it 100, right? Breathing don't work, because your mind is still ruminating and perseverating about, well, what about this? And what if that? And, you know, and all these things, thinking about the past, depression, thinking about the future, anxiety. And sometimes the best solution to that is to busy yourself and think about something different. Maybe you just need to play Sudoku on your phone. Or maybe you need to do a puzzle, some adult coloring, you know, something like that. Talk to a friend, talk to your therapist, talk to your pastor, whoever the case might be, and let it out. That's one. Reframe. Shift your perspective. What if, instead of saying like, oh, this is, you know, I'm always going to be in pain, it's never going to get better, leading to despair. What if instead you said, well, yeah, today's a bad day, but I'm going to take it by moment, and tomorrow might be better, or the next day might be better. So in the meantime, I'm not going to focus on all my limitations and how my body is racked in pain. I'm going to accept that reality because that's what it is. But my main focus is going to be, what can I do right now? I can do some leg lifts. Even though I can't get out of this bed, I'm going to just do some bicycles, laying down on my back with my legs. And then that's some physical movement. And that's going to increase my heart rate, which is going to increase the neurochemical BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is going to help heal the cells that have been damaged by stress in my body. I can do that. And that, when you shift your perspective, what's a different way to look at this? Well, I'm more mindful now. Well, I got more time at home with my children since I can't work. You know, I don't know, that might be a bad thing or a good thing. You know, but that can bring you from the pits of despair, maybe to upset, maybe to frustration, maybe to annoyance. And then, you know, moving on to, okay, what can I do? Last thing is recognize and accept. So it's like when you're watching, I have two pictures up here, when you're watching the Weather Channel and then you see the headlines at the bottom of the screen, or you watching, you know, CNN and you see the, you know, early snowstorm in October down here across the bottom of the screen. Sometimes because of a chemical factor in our brains, we have too much GABA, we have too little serotonin, where we just gonna be anxious. We're just going to have a lot of thoughts perseverating and happening because there is, in reality, a lot to problem solve around. We have long to-do lists. We have a lot to worry about. However, notice what's different on these screens. Those anxieties, we want to treat them like the ticker tape at the bottom of the screen. Just go ahead and allow it to happen. You know, ticker tape across the bottom of the screen. Oh, well, what if this and that's that and blah, blah, blah. But it's not the main picture. The main picture where you put your focus and your view is, what can I do today? Like I said, I can do my bicycles or my legs, you know, while I'm sitting here. You know, maybe you don't have the use of your legs right now. I can blink my eyes 5 times and look at, you know, draw pictures on the ceilings, whatever it is. What can you do? Focus on your resilience, focus on your power, and then also just, you know, experience this gratitude that, you know, every day is another opportunity to fight. And when you surround yourself with your support system that you will find through the Male Lupus Warriors, through Royal Love Foundation, through the Howse Foundation, through Lupus LA, through Lupus Foundation of America. There's so many. When you surround yourself with people who have been there, done that, got the t-shirt and the hat, and they can encourage you and give you strategies for managing, that's when you have the hope. That's where you put your main focus, not on those anxieties and worries, but on, okay, what is within my control and what can I do? I hope you guys are writing questions in the question box. I'll be answering questions. Another way to challenge some automatic negative thoughts. Think about, what is a more helpful thought? What is another possibility? What would the people who care about me say? Because sometimes we are our own harsh, worst critic, but we would never say to someone that we loved or to a child the things that we say to ourselves. We would never speak to someone else like that. So sometimes you need to treat yourself like that precious little child and treat yourself with grace and compassion and kindness and nurturing. If my friend had this thought, what would I tell them? If the worst really did happen, what could I do to deal with it, and who could help me? And what is the best possible outcome? Last slide. I love this quote by Leonard Cohen. It says, "Ring the bells that can still ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in." Yes, we have limitations as people who are living with lupus, and as people who are loving people who are living with lupus. However, there's beauty in our imperfections, and that crackedness, it is a testimony of our strength. It is evidence of our resilience and our ability to take on the world. So I just encourage you all today, no matter where you are in your lupus journey, to persevere, to know that you are not alone, and to accept where you are, and at the same time, keep pushing forward. So I'm going to open up the question and answer box, and I will be happy to answer your questions at this time. Why do I think the mental health of lupus patients is often not prioritized? I think it's more of an awareness type thing, because when you get that diagnosis, typically there's a lot going on. So there is, you could have kidney failure at that time, or, pericarditis where your heart is acting up and all that. And I think a lot of times the medical professionals are just trying to keep you alive. And now, as our society and culture is becoming more aware of the mind-body health connection, now there's more awareness that, like, hey, yes, I got these things going on in my body, or my hair falling out, those kinds of things, and it's impacting my anxiety and depression. And guess what? When you're super anxious and depressed, that's going to impact your adherence to medical treatment if you're going to take your Plaquenil every day or whatever you're prescribed. So now I think doctors are becoming more hip to the fact that it's all connected and it all needs to be attended to. Says, one of my daughters, on bad days, she cries and says she wants to die. I try to help her by listening, but what else can I do? I I'm so sorry that you are experiencing that and that your daughter is experiencing that. And it can sometimes feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. I think if there is an immediate concern, like your daughter has a serious intention to no longer live or to harm herself, you call 911. You get immediate intervention for that. However, if it is just a passing thought, she has no plan, no intention, then you can seek mental health services for her. So I usually send people to therapyden.com or psychologytoday.com, and you can find a provider that is accepting your insurance and specializes in chronic illness and specializes in seeing, whatever racial demographic that you are and those kinds of things to help you cope. And as a parent, learning strategies to help cope and better support as well. Listening, yes, that's important. But then also reminding her of who she is and that her body was built to survive. I have this little brain, sample structure thing here, word finding difficulties. This is our frontal lobe. So this is, let's see, right here. Our frontal lobe is our thinking, our rational parts of our brain where we problem solve and we, control, impulses and those kinds of things. And when we are under stress, this part goes offline. Like MRI studies show that there's actually less blood flow to that area during those times. And instead, what gets hyperactivated is here in our temporal lobe, our fight or flight system, or our safety system, which is our amygdala. And our amygdala organ is right here behind the ear. And that is the survival. That is, okay, there's a bear chasing after me, run. I don't have to think about it first. My legs are gonna move, right? And when you're under this intense pain in your body and intense stress and hopelessness, this is online. And this part, the rational thinking of, this is temporary, there are interventions, there are things that I can do, there's less access to that. So some things that you can help her do is you be this external frontal lobe for her by giving her that encouragement, by reminding her that there are ways that you can manage it and that you're not alone in getting that support. And then also give her extra access to this part by helping her to calm down her nervous system. So that's going to be through some breathing exercises. That's going to be through, proper nutrition. Make sure you get plenty of probiotics and prebiotics. That's also going to be in the moment through just, those three things that I've mentioned before. The redirect. So busy yourself, think about something else, do something fun and pleasurable, whether that be taking a bath or going for a walk or doing mental math, ironing clothes, if that's your thing, whatever. Reframe, what is a different way that I can think about this? And then recognize and accept. So yes, this sucks right now, but baby, trouble don't last always. And remembering that. All right. If you have a question, again, please put it in the question and answer box so that I don't have to shift and toggle between the chat and the question and answer. Are there resources for therapists to better understand and work with lupus patients? Yes, I would say you can go to lupusla.org or the Lupus Foundation of America.org. I also provide consultations for therapists. I'm a lupus survivor and my specialty is working with folks who are living with chronic illnesses, including lupus and fibromyalgia and EDS and POTS and so many, usually when you get one, you get several of them. But you can definitely reach out to me or you can go to one of these foundations as well. How do you get through the day when fatigue is bringing you down? Baby, that is a daily struggle. Let me tell you how. Take a nap. Take a nap, listen to your body. And I know that I'm saying it in jest, but I'm so serious. So in my office, I have in this little bitty container, it looks real cute and dainty. You don't know what's inside, but you open it up and there's a blanket. Sometimes I will lay on the floor and take a nap. and just allow yourself to recharge, because fatigue, I think that people without chronic illness fatigue don't understand how deep it is. It's not tired. It's so much deeper than that and so much more debilitating than that. So when you're having that fatigue, listen to your body, take your ass a nap, go sit down somewhere. And what's also good is physical movement. Sometimes that paradoxical intervention, doing the opposite, can actually be helpful to give you that one last little boost to get through your day. So something that's gentle stretching, some chair yoga. I have some videos on my website if that will be helpful for you, or, just going for a short walk, sun protected, and then get back to business. But again, listen to your body. How to deal with brain fog. I'm still dealing with that. You saw that I had the word finding difficulties and stuff like that. I'm not sure. I don't have all the answers. I am clothed in humanity and so imperfect. I mean, I think that you can use external help and reminders. So, again, when this logical, rational part of your brain is offline or not getting the access that it needs because of lupus brain fog or chronic pain brain fog and all those things, what I typically do is I use my phone calendar for everything. Like if I'm supposed to call somebody, I put that in my calendar. If I have a meeting, that's in my calendar. If I need to go to the pharmacy, I set a reminder and put it in my calendar. So you can actually use these external cognitive tools to help on those different lags that we would get because we're not operating at 100 because that's just kind of the reality of being human, but then also being human with a chronic condition. How do you manage being a clinician? What do you tell clients if you need to cancel an appointment or brain fog? I'm a social worker and struggle with memory at times and unpredictable symptoms. Well, for me, and it's a personal choice, but for me, I put on my website and advertise and let my clients know, like, I live with chronic illnesses. And I think that my clients are drawn to me because of that transparency and relatability. And so they know if I got to cancel an appointment, it is what it is. And I try not to do it too often, but I do definitely, I've learned over the years to respect my body and, I'll reschedule when I can. So I think that, if you are comfortable with that, selective disclosure of saying like, I, need to cancel, not feeling well. You don't even have to say like, oh, I'm having a flare, blah, 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 blah. That is completely reasonable. And it's actually in our professional ethics of what we are required to do. Of, the beneficence and non-maleficence, try to help and serve others and do no harm. And if you can't perform at your best because you've had a flare up, then you need to, go have a seat. So my clients know, they understand. And in an effort of prevention, what I do is ahead of time, I schedule a 1-week vacation every 3 months. And so being in private practice, I have the opportunity to do that. Just say like, hey, I'm not seeing any clients. And then I try to like not work, because if I'm like in town, I just like, oh, let me just open my computer. So just, keeping that in mind. And then with the brain fog, sometimes it'll happen during a session where I was just like, oh shoot, what was I saying? But if you just be 100 and transparent, like, oh, there's the brain fog again, it helps to humanize you. And that humanization, I'm gonna make up a word, and it increases your relatability to the clients and will also help that client to feel more strongly bonded to you, because like you're a real person and not just like a robot trying to deliver some interventions to someone that they can't relate to. My sister has lupus. She had a flare and went to the emergency room without telling anyone. When I asked her, why didn't you tell me? I could have gone with you. She said, what for? It's not like you can do anything for me anyways. Oh, I get that she was upset. What would you recommend to do in moments like that? Someone said, tell her you are a second set of eyes and a second brain to make sure she's taken care of and not discharged without proper care. Absolutely. And then also say, like, you know, I cannot imagine how hard it must be for you. So empathize and validate and say, like, if it ever comes up again, just know that I'm here and I will drop whatever to be here for you. I care about you and you're not alone. Because sometimes as lupus patients, we can feel like we don't want to burden other people, you know, with our problems, or we don't want to make it a big deal and those kinds of things, not realizing that like our support system is there because they care and they want to help and we're not a burden. So if you can just verbalize that so that she doesn't have to, you know, experience any of that shame and those kinds of things, that can be really helpful. It says, what was the website for a therapist? I'm going to type it into the chat box. So www.psychology. Phonics work for me. psychologytoday.com or www.therapyden.com. There's also therapyforblackgirls.com and then therapyforblackgirls.com. And then there's also Latinx therapy if you wanted specialized care with people who are of your same racial demographic. So I don't see any other questions. I'm going to pass off the virtual mic to male lupus warriors. See, y'all, I told you I had some brain fog. But it's just, you know, if you just say it in jest and you just be real about it, I think people are accepting and embracing. But yeah, hi guys.
Hey, Doc.
Okay, I'm gonna log off. If Kim, you want to take me off?
Alrighty, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Lupus Project. We're so excited to be here. My name is Dion Langley, the CEO of #BeatLupus.
And my name is Emmett Henderson III. I'm the CEO of Male Lupus Warriors, and we are
the Lupus Dream Team.
So what's up, guys? We are very excited to be here. We want to give major props and big ups to Kimberly Howse and the Howse Foundation for hosting us. Dr. Blied. She is just so awesome. Just to hear her and everything that she's doing for us and everything that she says makes so much sense. So it's just a blessing to have her on.
Yeah, we really appreciate everybody for having us. We got to give a shout out to my man Kazi, man, with the Standing 8 movie. It's definitely been a big influence in my life, and you know, us being male warriors, that movie really touched my heart. So shout out to you, Kazi, man. We definitely appreciate it. Understanding that we are, you know, the 10% of people that's diagnosed with lupus, and just understanding just offhand that women, you know, predominantly dominate the lupus scene. But looking at myself and Emmett Henderson, we are that 10% of men that do battle with lupus. And from that, you know, I just want to ask you, Emmett, just from your standpoint, your own personal standpoint, how did you feel after you got diagnosed with lupus?
Man, it was wild, Dion. It was wild and crazy. When I first got the word that I had systemic lupus, of course, just like Kazi was like, what is that? We don't know. Those words came across me, and the way it came across me was it was told that it was rare for me to have a woman's disease because of my ethnicity, my age, and my gender. So that was kind of hard to accept, you know, all kind of things were going through my head at that time. So with my lupus journey, my journey goes back to 1980, where as a young kid, I had developed basically discoid lupus, but was not diagnosed at the time. That was all over my face, all over my chest and my shoulders. I had rashes that was actually hurting, as well as fevers that was just like off the charts on temperature. So fast forward 15 years after that, that's when I started having the joint pains. So the joint pains were coming off and on. As a man with lupus, I tried to keep pushing because I'm not going to let some aches and some pains take me into the hospital to get diagnosed. And when it got so severe that I ended up going into the hospital, I ended up getting dismissed because x-rays didn't show nothing wrong. They just told me to take painkillers. They told me to go home and call it a day. So, I mean, okay, so guess what? I continue on months and months later, almost a year later. Now I'm getting internal pains. Still can't explain what it is, but it still didn't take me to the hospital. I basically got forced by my job to go because they saw me in peril. They saw me in pain. Finally went. The pains that I were having were coming from my kidneys. Didn't even know. I was already in kidney failure. Didn't even know. So then from there, I was in the hospital for such a long time. Test after test finally revealed from a rheumatologist, which I didn't even know what that title was, systemic lupus. So man, it was crazy to hear about that. Lupus took me through a ride though, because from there, I had almost every organ and system affected in my body. One of the biggest ones that I went through was heart failure. After heart failure, putting my family through a scare, they had to put me in an induced coma to basically protect my heart that I don't end up passing away during the heart failure. So luckily, with faith in God and prayers and family, I got through that. Ended up coming back out. Now I had to go back to rehab to learn how to walk and talk and do everything all over again that I never thought as a young man I would go through that age and do. So from there, lupus with the kidney failure, I ended up getting lucky and having a kidney transplant after going on a year with peritoneal dialysis. Had a kidney transplant, blessed from my brother. Lupus had already affected my spleen. I had liver disease, restricted lung disease where I was carrying oxygen for such a long time. I had all kind of ulcers going down through my throat, which was chronic, that I had to have a feeding tube at times because of that. And then of course with Sjogren's syndrome, rheumatoid arthritis, Raynaud's, I can go with shingles, I had gout. Recently, I had my gallbladder taken out. I had a stroke in 2018, and then now in 2019, they found the issue with my brain. So lupus has left a mark on my brain that to this day, we're still fighting. We're still trying to find a diagnosis. But my story is wild, D. It's crazy. And as a man with lupus, man, it's kind of one of those things where we got to keep pushing no matter what, you know? And now that, you know, everybody heard how I went about it, what was my story, I'm going to ask you the same thing. With everything that you endured, you know, you the man, you looking good, bro. I can't say much about you, but what was going through your mind? What was going through your mind when it happened?
It was crazy, man. When I first got diagnosed, like I was sitting in the hospital, man, and I went a couple times just to the ER, you know, and just like they say, they gave me painkillers. They were just like, look, take this. I'll be home for a couple of days, and then I'm right back at them, not even thinking about, you know, in my wildest dreams that I would have lupus. So I got admitted in a hospital one time for like 2 weeks. And then I ended up staying there for a long time. And then 2 weeks turned into like a month. And then a month turned into like, and they keep running these tests. And I'm like, what's going on? So finally, man, they ended up doing surgery and they took a lymph node out. So when they took that lymph node out, you know what I'm saying? They tested me for cancer and everything. And come to find out, man, about 2 days later, the doctor came in, he said, you have lupus. And that scared the crap out of me. Like, it scared the piss out of me, bro. Because I was lupus. Like, man, like, I tell everybody, I thought I was going to die. Like, I just thought that was it for me. So I immediately just started crying. Like, I had nothing else to do but just cry because people fear what they don't understand. So I didn't understand what lupus was. So initially that fear just hit me just right then and there. Okay. And man, wow, yeah. I mean, and then, man, it was like, that was 2010 then. And man, from there on, when I tell you, it's just been surgery after surgery. After, you know, when things start going good, then you have a real good period. And then it'll back down again to just like just downtime, and then you're back hospitalized, you know. And me being a professional drummer, man, you know, it's one of those things where I'm always on the go and on the road. So if I'm laying up in a hospital bed, like, oh man, it's just not a good feeling, you know. I was diagnosed with pericarditis too as a side effect of my lupus. So I had to watch my heart and just everything. Like everything just really as a man, like I say, it really took a lot out of me mentally because as a man, you know, you just, when you get diagnosed with a women's disease, immediately you start to question yourself, you know. But I got to be strong and be like, look, man, this, I know I'm 100% laying, you know what I'm saying? But when you get diagnosed in a situation like that, in a disease that's rare and that the world doesn't really recognize, it makes you feel some type of way. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
man, but I ask you this, and it's two important factors, okay? Two important factors, and I want everyone to understand this. It's two important factors to beating lupus. And Amy, could you tell me one of those factors, please?
Well, on my behalf, I think one of the major ones out of the two is definitely mental health. Because for me, with everything that I had been through, I had to keep my mind focused on no matter what lupus brings to me, I got a life to live. I got 2 kids to support. I got a family that depend on me. And the way I was thinking at the time, I got a job that needs me. But it's like I put all of that into my head and was able to tackle everything. One thing in my journey also that I didn't mention was I had an important knee replacement. I also had a shoulder replacement, and then I had a bone marrow stem cell transplant. So with all of those coming at me as a young man at the time, I thought I was strong. I felt like, just nothing can fade me. It's just that all of that started coming along. I can't let it beat me mentally. Lupus can do what it can in my body, and I'm going to end up recovering. But I felt that if I didn't have the mental strength to get past it, it would be hard for my body to go forward with it as well. And it's not something that mental health comes right away. No, man, you got to practice mental health just like you practice everything else. And what I mean by that is maybe repeating to yourself affirmations, repeating to yourself that you are going to beat this. Take advantage of the support you have around you. Let that feed that strength into you to where you are going to beat this because I got these people that have my back. I come to you all the time, D. You got my back when I need it and vice versa. But again, it all starts on the mental health part of it. And I think that really got me to my journey. I would not be here today doing what I do today if it wasn't for my mental health.
That's a good point, man.
Lupus, we may be strong as men, but lupus is not that type of disease that we got to take lightly. So grab that mental health from an early standpoint, stand strong, keep firm. And it's okay to feel that you got back down a little bit. It's okay to fall down a little bit, but like that saying, it's how you get up. And it's your mental health that helps you get back up and continue what you're doing, So D, for me, that was that's a big thing for me, and that's one of the two. So why don't you tell me what's that second part that you feel?
Okay, I feel it's important, man, and to me, I think physically, you have to understand what your body can and can't do. Once you're diagnosed with lupus, it's so important that you understand your body, what your body can do and what it can't do. At the end of the day, no matter what people think, may say, may feel, or even have to say, you have to understand your body. That was the hardest part for me because, like I say again, playing drums and being drumming every day, that's my life. But at the end of the day, I can't be that same drummer like I used to be before I got diagnosed with lupus. So I had to adjust my mindset as well. But I had to understand that physically, it took a toll on me drumming at times. A lot of people used to look at me and they say, hey, man, D, why are you so tired? You don't look like you're tired. You don't look like you're sick. But at the end of the day, that's the inner battle with lupus that we all deal with. But on the outside, we all look fine. But understanding that your body needs rest. I'm telling y'all, your body has to get rest. You have to combine the mental with the physical. And that's how you beat lupus, because at the end of the day, lupus is unpredictable. It comes and goes whenever it wants to. So understand this, everybody. You have to combine the mental stability, just like Emmett said. Once you get the mental down pat, then it controls your body and all the functions. But the hardest thing for me, Emmett, man, for real, man, was I'm still trying to do what I used to do and just can't do it.
As strong men, man, it's hard, but we have to accept it and keep it moving. We got it.
I wanted to say this though. I know everybody been talking about the Lupus Dream Team, Now, we've been hearing it. Yeah, there you go. We got our shirts on. We represent everybody talking about the Lupus Dream Team now, Emmett. So just let the world know. Let the world know how we came about it, what's our mission, what we're going to do, and how we're going to keep it rolling.
Well, as you guys know, in the beginning on the intro, I am the CEO of Male Lupus Warriors. Dion is #BeatLupus. When I came on the scene about a year and a couple months ago, I was kind of discouraged because I didn't see nobody else advocating on the men's side. And then all of a sudden, this dude popped up named Dion Langley and beat Lupus. And I'm like, oh, let's check this out. I see his game. I see what he's doing. I'm impressed. I'm weight just dropped off of my shoulders thinking, okay, I'm not the only dude doing this. So I got to know this brother. Now he ends up being a brother of mine. I got to admire what he did or he's doing. And to me, that is just a strong bond that we both build on each other. We were doing each other, following each other. He was just respecting everything. And then, you know, in later on in the summertime, early summer, we sit down, we start talking, chopping away, and we were like, Emmett, you know, we got two good platforms. What if we combine and make a third platform? And to me, it's like, I am so game. I am so down. Let's do it. And what we bring as the Lupus Dream Team is different from Male Lupus Warriors, different from Beat Lupus. We have a platform that we are trying to make and put above what we're doing. But now instead of two good organizations, now you got three. You got two men that are out there advocating for lupus, putting out their inspiration, putting out their strength, putting out there what a lot of people were thinking. We just actually doing it. See, so, you know, it's one of those things, D, to where I think that this type of collaboration is what the community needs, because as men, from the very beginning, you were barking loud. I came along, I'm barking loud, and now guess what? We barking loud together. And the thing is, we consistent. So we consistent, man. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. So that's a blessing. It's such a blessing to team up with you to do this, because now, again, we got three good platforms that we are bringing. And it's very rare for men to have lupus, but what's even more rare is the men speaking out on it. But you ain't got that with us. You ain't
That's
got
it. That's the thing. That's the thing. The thing of it is that we have to speak out. A lot of times people wonder why lupus get pushed to the side. Like, man, I'm tired of getting lupus, being pushed to the daggone backbone. For real. It really bothers me every day. But we get that because we don't speak out like we should. There's so many men in our area, so many men around the world that has lupus. Me and Emmett are trying to bring a different aspect and a different look to let you all know, hey, it's okay to have lupus. You still can accomplish your dreams, your goals. You can still live life. I got diagnosed in 2010. I'm still here. You understand what I'm saying? So, bro, listen, our time might be short, but this is what we're going to do. We would love for anybody. We're going to open up the floor to any type of questions that you may have for the Lupus Dream Team. Anything that, that you want to throw out here at us, we here. We just appreciate all the love. And we here for you guys. So if y'all got any questions before our time is up, we would love to answer them. We would really love to answer them.
So I hope you can see him, D, because I can't see him. So I hope.
I just see a lot of people that saying thank you for for repping this. All the love. We just appreciate everything.
You guys have one question. Someone asked, how did your family help you?
Oh wow. Okay. Listen, I have a great support system. My kids. Let me tell you something, man. My kids are so amazing. My uncle, man, they call him Hot Shot, man. Like when I tell you, they were the centerpiece for just making sure that I'm where I'm at today. Like, my daughter really took on the lead role because at the time she was the oldest. And when I couldn't do at the house, my daughter really stepped up. So my kids, man, like, shout out to my kids. I love y'all. I love y'all all day. You got it, Emmett.
For me, it was one of those things that as a man, I hid it for such a long time. I didn't want to say anything. And as soon as I did let my family in, I kind of thought I was going to get some pushback because I'm that strong person that don't need help. But no, they came to me. They accommodated to everything to me. They were just there 1,000,000%. There were so many years and times I was in a hospital during holidays where they brought Christmas to me. They brought Thanksgiving to me. They brought holidays to me because I'm in the hospital all this time. So they did not let me go unnoticed and without, any type of movement of regret to where, no, he has an illness, he is strong, but they know that under me, with me, that they're going to keep me going. And that's what they did. So my friends came along as well because, again, He's the type of guy that he don't need help. He's the type of guy that got all the answers. When it came to lupus, I didn't have all the answers. And so I may not have showed that I needed the help, but inside I did. And I went to my family who was right there. So years later and today, I preach the opposite about keeping it in. I preach this about, letting it out, because I did the opposite. I held it in. I didn't let people know. And now that I've seen the benefits of it, you definitely got to have family support and keep it there with them. They will not abandon.
That's it, man. And Emmett, man, I'm gonna say this too, and I need everybody to really understand this. Your circle, your love circle, is so important when you have lupus. Your love circle is so important when you have lupus, because if you have a negative love circle around you or negativity, guess what that adds? Stress. When you get stress in your body, stress is the #1 killer. I'm gonna say this right now. Stress will tear you all apart. And so just understand your love circle that you have is so important. So I'm just blessed to have a great love circle. Emmett's part of my love circle. We the Lupus Dream Team. At the end of the day, we're going to look out for each other. We're going to care for each other. And we just going to keep it 100, and we're going to keep it real about getting the word out about lupus. Okay. Every day ain't a good day, but it's always tomorrow. So be prepared for a better day tomorrow.
That's
okay.
Right.
I'm looking. I don't know if we got any more questions. If it is, somebody please ask or let me know before I time it up.
The next question is, what advice would you give a young man who is newly diagnosed?
Oh, okay. I'll get this. As a young man who is newly diagnosed with lupus, the first thing that you have to do, this is going to be the hardest thing to do, is you have to swallow your pride and accept it. Okay, I dealt with what I dealt with because for years I didn't accept that I had lupus. So when I didn't accept it, guess what I did? I hid behind it. I wasn't confident. It brought more wear and tear on my body, mentally and physically. Okay, just like Emmett say all the time, if you're not mentally strong, then it's going to wear you down. Then physically you cannot make it dealing with lupus. So the first thing that I would suggest is to just swallow your pride as a man, put that male ego aside, and you have to accept it.
That's it. And Dion, so if I could piggyback on that, not only just accept it, but it's also okay. Like Dr. Blied said, there's a section in there where release. It's okay to open up. That's 95, when I got sick, it was hard for me to do it because I didn't have the support. If a young man is diagnosed in this time right now, we are here to talk. You can release to us, and there's no judgment. We've been through it, so we want to help. So any young man that's out there that's going through it now, hit us up. I talked to an 18-year-old woman today that, bless her heart, she was diagnosed recently, and for her to be recommended to come to me, that right there just melted my heart. To where come to me as a lupus advocate to help this young child at 18, young adult, sorry. It's just one of those things where accepting it, releasing it. And one thing I told her, that it was okay to cry. It's okay to release it, to let it out. Do not hold it in as a young man. Yeah, you got the world ahead of you, the world in front of you, but it's okay to release. Release to your family, release to us, people that walked in your shoes. Eventually, you're going to be walking in our shoes. You are going to know what it is. So, young men, stay strong no matter what. There is help. Seek it, get over it, and conquer it. Get over the fact that there are no people out there that can help you, because there is. We are here. Right, D?
That's it. Always, man. We always here. And listen, for the young man and the young women, anybody that have any questions, especially men, listen, I want y'all to reach out to us. Okay. Listen, you can reach us on our social media platforms. Okay. We got the Lupus Dream Team. Okay. That's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the Lupus Dream Team. Just type in Lupus Dream Team. You'll find us. Okay. If you need to email us, it's the Lupus Dream Team. One word, the Lupus Dream Team @gmail.com. If you need go ahead.
I'm sorry. The next question is, how can female lupus warriors support you and make men feel welcome and included? Like, for example, at support groups.
Oh, listen, we appreciate you ladies having a strong voice. we wouldn't have the courage. We wouldn't be where we're at today if we didn't see or didn't hear or didn't see what y'all ladies were doing before we even got on the scene. Y'all are the voice of reason. Like, ladies, y'all run y'all mouth. Y'all know how to run y'all mouth. Y'all got it. Come on, get it out there. So all we do is piggyback. Okay, all we do is piggyback off that loud voice that you all have, and we're just being that voice of reason for the men. But without the ladies doing what you all doing, we wouldn't even have had the strength and courage to come out. Listen, when I wanted to step out about lupus, I had to ask the female. I ain't asked no dude about it. So at the end of the day, you all keep doing what you're doing, and we really applaud you guys, and we love you, and just keep it up.
You know what? And I'm not going to say y'all run your mouth because we want to hear what y'all have to say. And I know it didn't mean it.
Women talk. We love y'all, but they talk.
Straight up. But I think what it is that in the very beginning, I was one guy on plenty of Zooms where I was the only guy compared to the women. But what the women did to make me feel open, and what I encourage you women to do, is that when there is a man that's on there, that the subject should not be circled all around the women, because lupus, even though we're a small percentage of it are men, lupus still is with all of us. So we may all go things, but when I was on there and women were talking about, well, their cycle, when they was talking about being pregnant, it's like, I'm just sitting there like, all right, I'll just listen for now. And it was kind of hard to get involved. But then when the question came to me and somebody asked me, then I was able to put my spill out. So men wants to be accepted in these groups. It's easier for them to talk and open up when they feel that they are. Again, we admire, adore, and are inspired by you women for everything that you guys do. We, as me, Dion, as the Dream Team, we just want to let y'all know that, yes, we get lupus too, and we want to be in the fight with y'all as well. We appreciate being accepted by you because y'all has showed us so much love on everything that we do, to where it makes us pump out more inspiration, motivation, and strength and everything. So I would definitely do that. Acknowledge the men with lupus, give them that platform to where I'm going to feel brave to talk about it because y'all receiving me.
We love you guys. Yep, we love you guys. It's not about separation. It's about bringing everybody together. So at the end of the day, if we can join in on a conversation with you guys, it's helping us just as well as helping you guys. We all in this together, and that's the goal of the Lupus Dream Team.
You guys have about 3 more questions. The next one is, can you speak to the disparities you've experienced in healthcare, having a disease that disproportionately affects people of color?
Hey, D, let me go off on that one real quick, because one of the biggest things is that as men, and especially as African-American men, one of the biggest things back in the day for us was lack of resources, lack of medical care, for us to even acknowledge to even go look for a doctor. So all of that kind of played a role to where maybe that percentage is a lot higher than 10%, but a lot of men maybe can't get to the doctors to get diagnosed, or like I did back in the day, brush off some pain, brush off some aches, and just take it laying down thinking everything is going to be okay. So with us, again, it's more of the challenges are out there, but if you're not a voice for yourself, if you don't advocate for yourself, you're going to be part of that statistic that you are not getting that help. But is it really, whose fault really is it? Where does some of the blame go? You always got to put something on yourself. And for me, it was, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to tell the doctors everything that's going on. They got to take care of me. They got to see me. I have insurance. I don't have insurance. Something has to be done, but you just can't avoid and hide the fact. So advocate for yourself. Be that voice that they want to give you the attention, but they can't do anything if they don't know. If they don't know.
Be loud. Be loud. Run your mouth. Run it. Get it out there. Be loud. That's all I can say. Be loud. Be the oddball. Be the one. If everybody's going left, go right. Because when you go different, you just stand out. Nobody even knew what we were doing when it came to this whole lupus walk, unless me and Emmett had the courage to just stand out and just be different. So just be different. Speak on it. Speak on it.
Someone says, I have no support system, but I have learned to fend for myself. I know Emmett.
Okay. And for knowing me, you get 100% from me. Now, guess what? You're getting 100% from this dude right here. So you know me, you're going to know Dion, you're going to know the Lupus Dream Team. We will not judge anybody, turn anybody away. We are here for everything. We're an open book. He gave y'all the email, the lupusdreamteam@gmail.com. You guys can get in touch with me, get in touch with D. Again, if we don't answer right away, we definitely will answer. But thank you for the support, and we are here as well.
Last question. Are other men sympathetic to your illness and understanding?
No. And no. The only reason everybody's not sympathetic is because they don't know. They don't understand lupus. They don't even like people don't even bother to take the time to understand what lupus is. And when they see it, that is like, okay, but then it's some that do know, and the first thing that they'll say is, you got a female disease? So they initially put us in that weak or that I'm not a man category. So they're not sympathetic only because they don't know and they don't understand. That's the purpose of what Emmett and myself is doing with this Lupus Dream Team, is to get that word out so that they can understand, so that people can be sympathetic, so that we can get more research, so more men could come out and say, listen, we need this, you know what I'm saying? But sympathetic right now, I'll be honest, man, I'm from Virginia, P-Town. They ain't giving you no sympathy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's just what it is.
And you know what? I think everything that Dion said makes sense, other men, but education is key. Education is key. The close ones around you in your circle will take the time to get educated, understand what you're going through, and will be cool with it. The days that I were telling my boys, I can't hang out with y'all tonight, or I got to get home early, yeah, they just dismiss me like, okay, why are we hanging out with you? But if they're not educated on what's going on with you, not that you got to tell everybody all the time, real friends won't judge you. Real friends will honor how you feel, what you say. That's something that they have to do for you. So definitely, it's one of those things.
All right, that's all the questions. Do you guys have anything else before you leave?
Yeah. We just want to make sure, and we just want to just say, listen, thank you all. If you want to get in touch with us again, it's the Lupus Dream Team. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. If you need to email us, thelupusdreamteam@gmail.com. If you need to follow me, I'm #BeatLupus on Facebook, Dion Langley, IG Drum for Lupus, Beat Lupus Apparel. So we're here. And like I said, I really appreciate you guys. Any social handle, and you know.
And for me, if you guys are not following me, you can follow me on Facebook at my name, at Emmett Henderson III. You can also follow me on Facebook under my page, Male Lupus Warriors, and you can follow me on Instagram at Male Lupus Warriors. I'm also on Twitter too, under Male Lupus Warriors as well. So we're trying to keep everything going. Me and Dee, thank you guys very much. We appreciate all the love and support that you guys give to us. It's a daily thing that we work hard to put what we have to put out there, not because we want attention, it's because we want people to recognize lupus. We want people to understand what we've been through, and now here we are fighting for lupus, advocating for lupus. We got y'all back. We got y'all back. So with that said, from all of us, we love you. Again, Kimberly Howse, we love you. Thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you.
Dee, let's tell them who we are, bro.
You already know.
Lupus Dream Team.
Lupus Dream Team. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Hey everybody. Well, it's my turn and I really don't know how I'm gonna go after these amazing speakers. I mean, wow. From Dr. Blied to the Lupus Dream Team. Gosh, I am so impressed and everyone did so well. I felt like we had such great information. It is getting late. It's already almost 8 o'clock. And so I will keep my speech short and sweet. For those of you that don't know me or maybe just joining, my name is Kimberly Howse. I am the president of Lupus Howse Foundation. I was diagnosed with lupus in December of 2005. And, I have a story that's probably very similar to all of you guys. At first diagnosed, not really understanding what was going on, thinking that if I told myself I didn't have it, if I pray about it, at 25, I'm going from one day being told that I have this illness and all of a sudden have to take all of these medications. And, it's hard. It's hard when you're young. It's hard when you're really young. And it's hard when there's not a lot of awareness about lupus out there. So I'm glad that you guys are here, and I'm glad that we're reaching more people. I'm glad that we're able to do this. I mean, I love being together with everyone in person, but I think it's super awesome to be able to do this out of the comfort of our homes. People from anywhere and everywhere can join us. So I think that that's amazing. And it's easier for us to let people know on a wider stance that, hey, we're here for you. You're not alone. And you're not the only person struggling with this. A lot of times people think that they're the only person going through something, but you guys got to understand that you're not. And even though each of our journeys are different, when you deal with lupus, you really get it. And I think that a lot of people can attest to that. When you have lupus and somebody else that you meet them and they say, gosh, I'm tired. We get what that means and what kind of tired that means. And it just feels good to connect with other people that you can talk to in that way, and you don't have to over explain yourself. And when you say, hey, I can't make it out tonight, they just get it. So I'm so happy that we're able to have a community of people and people that have become friends that we're able to connect with and share with and tell our stories to. And there's never, ever any judgment. We all support and love one another. And that's what this is about. This is a community of unity where we come together and we share and we love on one another and we share our experiences, and we all have different journeys. You see, there's so many people, organizations, people that want to support small businesses. And this is where we get to come together and share about all of that. So I'm just excited to see all of the support, all of your amazing comments. It's amazing. So yes, I am the president and founder of Lupus Howse Foundation. Mikeana Deadman and Jane, who's also here on the call from the Bay, Jane from the Bay, we call her, are also a part of Lupus Howse Foundation. And Lupus Howse Foundation is a nonprofit organization designed to help promote healthy living with lupus. So we provide resources and support to people living with lupus, as well as businesses, healthcare providers. And we're just really here to help to support people living with lupus and their families who want to live a healthier lifestyle with education. We're really big on alternative solutions and other health resources. So yes, I mean, I try to be not so much about, I've created the Lupus Project, but, it's a collaborative event that, it's here, and every single individual, every single lupus organization, and every business on this call has contributed to this event. So this is our event. It's a community event. It's not about Howse Foundation. It's not about any other organization. It is about us serving the people living with lupus first and foremost, and learning about all of the resources available to us. This is the one time where we get to come together as different organizations. We have to come together because that's the only way we could beat this. If we're all divided and fighting against one another to have the best organization, the top organization, this ego is in the way, and we don't accomplish the goal, and that is for us to live a healthier, happy life. So that's what the Lupus Project is about, unity. And I know that we had the opportunity to hear a bit about lupus and what it is. And, Dr. Blied suggested also that we could Google it. But maybe for those of you that are on, I'm going to share a little bit more about what lupus is. It is a chronic condition that can affect many parts of the body, including the joints. Most of us have joint issues, the skin, kidneys, heart, lungs, blood vessels, and even your brain. Although people with the disease have many different symptoms, some of the most common ones include the extreme fatigue, painful or swollen joints, unexplained fever, skin rashes, and kidney problems. Lupus varies greatly in severity. From mild cases, you have people who look and live a regular life. They look like nothing's wrong with them, and have a mild case, which requires minimal intervention. to people who have significant and potentially fatal damage. They could have vital organs damage, such as the lungs. I know when I was initially diagnosed, my first 2 years of living with lupus, my lungs was constantly attacked, and I couldn't even lay down in bed. I had to sit up to sleep just to breathe properly. It's crazy thinking about all of the things that our body deals with dealing with lupus. The heart, a lot of us get pericarditis and we have heart issues. We get pain upon breathing. Kidneys, a lot of people have kidney issues, lupus nephritis, and end up with stage 4 kidney disease and damage and have to go through dialysis or even get a kidney transplant, all this because of lupus. And again, brain, lupus can attack your brain, causing seizures, the lupus fog. You guys see that all the time, and you guys understand that. For some of us, the disease can be characterized by flares. So if you hear someone say a flare, that's just an activity of interspersed with periods of improvement or remission. So sometimes we feel good, sometimes we don't. Sometimes for a whole month we're sick, sometimes for a whole year we feel better. That's the thing about lupus, it's unpredictable. We never know from day to day how we'll feel. And that's kind of the thing that sucks. You know, a lot of diseases, you have it, you can expect a certain thing, a certain medication, a certain way to go. But with lupus, you never know, because it attacks you from literally head to toe, and you never know from one day to the next what that attack, might be. So Lupus Howse Foundation, we built this organization, and our mission is to build awareness one brick at a time by providing wellness resources, support, and access to a healthier lifestyle. So we hope to partner with health-conscious businesses like a lot of the ones that you'll get to see at the Lupus Project, and bring awareness by making sexy, healthy, and beautiful living accessible to all. Our support groups are the direct connection to the lupus community that provides the help needed. We meet monthly. We used to meet in person, but obviously because of coronavirus, we've been meeting virtually through Instagram Live, Facebook Live. We tried a Facebook Live. And here's Crowdcast. So we're testing out these different platforms to see which one you guys like, which one works out best, and just trying to make it happen any way we can, because we know we've been there where we've been without support, and we know how important support is. And if you're newly diagnosed, I just really want to encourage you to reach out for support, because without support, I really don't know how I'd even be here today. So our support groups are the direct connection that we feel like you need. And we have range in topics from skincare, offering free help with disability, as well as learning about healthy alternative and organic lifestyle changes, because that's our favorite. There is so much more to what we have to offer, but what makes Lupus Howse Foundation different is the actual experience, the real life living with lupus experience that you just don't understand unless you actually have lupus. So not just the facilitator training, each of us have received facilitator training, but we have the actual real life trials that people don't get, and that prepare us to share and inspire so many. A lot of times people think that, they fully understand what you're going through. And I tell them, you just don't get it unless you get it. Unless you get lupus, unless you have lupus, you'll never fully understand. But we do appreciate the support. And, sexy, healthy, and beautiful with lupus is what we want. But our greatest hope, of course, is the cure. Like, when is the cure coming? When do we get the cure? So if that doesn't happen with Lupus Howse Foundation, we hope that with a healthy lifestyle, advice, alternative solutions without side effects, we hope that we can assist people with lupus live a better life. So that's what Lupus Howse Foundation is about. And I am so happy that I had the opportunity to share my story. We have a lot more to share. We are going to end this night with Dr. Blied giving us a bit of a closing statement, but I do see there are some questions, so I'll answer them really quickly. And I gotta thank you so much. You're welcome, and thank you guys so much. I love when you guys interact with me. It makes me feel better about being on here. Can we rewatch this live streaming, especially Sunday speakers? Yes, this entire Lupus Project will be recorded. So once I find out how I can save that and either send a link or share it, I will email you that to whatever email address that you guys registered on Eventbrite. So yes, are resources also in other language? That's a great question, and I'm so happy you asked because I've gotten that question at least 5 times already. So that lets me know that the need for resources in other languages is really important. So one group I'd like to recommend if you are a Spanish speaker is Looms for Lupus. They also offer Spanish-speaking support groups. And a lot of the organizations that you'll see on the calls today do have languages, pamphlets and information in other languages. So I can find out about other language. I see someone in the comments is asking about Russian. I can look into that and let you know. I don't know off the top of my head. I do know that there is a lot of Spanish-speaking translations for the pamphlets and like different groups that are available to help you with that. So I'll put that on my to-do list. And we have a question from Mikey King Kim. You did amazing. And I would like to publicly give you flowers. We love you and appreciate all that you do. Thank you, Mikey. I love you and appreciate you. You are amazing. No questions now. Well, with that said, if there are no further questions, I'm going to bring Dr. Monica Blied back on. And thank you guys for taking the time to listen to me. I know that I got on a little bit later, and I'm sure a lot of you are ready to go to sleep, especially if you're in the East Coast. But thank you for tuning in and listening. And I will let Dr. Blied take it away with the closing.
Yeah, so we will close today with a brief 3-minute meditation. So just follow along with me and listen to the sound of my voice. And of course, at any time you can opt out of this meditation and just treat my voice like another sound in the room. So I want you to start this meditation posture with your eyes open and take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you breathe in through your nose, you're breathing in as if you're smelling a bouquet of roses, if you have access to that, or breathing out like you're blowing out through a straw, blowing out birthday candles. This allows our nervous system to relax and our bodies and minds to calm down. Notice the rise and fall of your belly with each inhale and exhale. Take a moment to appreciate the automatic functioning of your lungs. Thank your lungs. Next, gently close your eyes or lower your gaze and become aware of your thoughts without judgment. Your mind might be evaluating this experience of meditation. It may be reflecting on the events from tonight with the Lupus Project. It may be associating this experience with something pleasant or perhaps unpleasant. Whatever they are, thank your thoughts for the great job they do in keeping you aware and aligned with what is important to you. Now scan your body and take time to thank the parts that you're particularly grateful for. Perhaps your feet for taking you where you want to go, or your hands for taking you where you want to go if you are wheelchair bound. Perhaps your hands again for their strength. Your heart for beating and keeping you alive and present in this moment. Whichever part you feel drawn to, thank it briefly and move on to another. Continue until you feel the gratitude surging. Finally, connect with all the effort you give in creating your life, with the energy you put forth for taking care of yourself, for managing your illnesses, for taking care of others, and contributing to our world. Feel the immensity of this energy in your heart. Breathe deeply into your heart center. And allow your chest muscles to relax in the awareness of your good efforts. If your mind wanders to negative characteristics within yourself, gently return to that feeling of gratitude in your heart for all that you have, all that you give, and all that you are. Meditate on this wonderful feeling of gratitude as we close up for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us. Please come back tomorrow night and Saturday and Sunday for more from the Lupus Project. Thank you again.